It's the dreamscape. Hello, dreamers, and welcome back to Indie Synergy Exchange, your podcast for all things indie, art, and creativity. I'm your hostess, Lemona Bonnerae. Our usual amazing host, Tanner, is MIA this evening, so I am doing it for you all to switch it up. And I'm super excited for our guest this evening. But before I introduce her super fast, I just want to give a little plug for our platform, Dreamscape Empyrean. Please consider interacting with and subscribing to our YouTube channel and any of our other social media platforms. It's Dreamscape Empyrean on all social media platforms. It really would help us to keep giving the spotlight to indie creators, which is the whole point of our podcast. And so thank you for any kind of support that you give. We really appreciate you. And our guest this evening is Monica of Multicolored Mind.
Hello.
And let me see here. I have my little notepad because I'm nervous. Let's see. I think I said everything I was supposed to, actually. I don't think I'm missing anything major. So, yeah. So we can just get right into it. As you've already noticed, I'm way more brief than Tanner. I like to get things done, I guess. I don't know. So, Monica, go ahead and share a bit about who you are and what you do.
So, hi, I'm Monica. I run Multicolor Mind. I am actually a full-time artist. So I make lots of fun things to bring happiness to everybody, mostly at conventions, but I do some online selling as well. I recently got into making plushies, which has been so fun. I love it so much. I make a lot of things like enamel pins and prints and keychains. Pretty much think of like an artist alley. Anything that could fit into an artist alley. I pretty much just make whatever makes me happy. That's kind of the whole goal.
And how did you start? Did you start with something specific that was like the how do I say, like the birthing or birth point of what you have now?
During the pandemic, I was like, well, maybe I could learn how to, draw on an iPad. Maybe I could learn how to do that. And I made my first design, which was of my bearded dragon, Felix. And I made it into a sticker and I threw it on Etsy. It was my only listing. And as soon as I made enough from that, I made a gecko sticker and then another sticker and another. And then it just kept going and rolling into me obsessively making way too many things. And then I was like, this could actually be something. And I went to my first convention in the end of 2022, which is actually ColossalCon East, which is this weekend. But they have what they call a craft fair. So people who aren't familiar with doing artist alleys can come and do the craft fair for free, as long as you have your admission ticket. And they'll give you 3 feet of space. So it was just me and my little 3 feet of space. And I was like, oh my God, this is so fun. Like, I love conventions because I had never really done it before. And I just fell in love and I started booking them all the time. And by the middle of the next year, like, I was quitting my job and doing this full time.
Oh, wow. You achieved the dream.
I know.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's so stressful. It's like cute plushies. Also, financial struggle, but honestly, it's worth it. Like, I would take this a million times over any other job I've had. And every job that I've had has definitely helped me with this one, because my previous job was working in a bank. And so seeing how the businesses operate, and I had this amazing manager, her name was Darcy, and she was the business banker. she had all these like women in business awards and everything. She was so wonderful, and she taught me a lot about like the financial side of businesses and everything just from observing her. And so like I'm glad I had all these little things that led up to me running a business,
Right.
because that wasn't what I went to school for. I went to school for fine art, and then I was going back to school for video production, and it was a point that I was doing conventions, I was working at the bank, and I was in school. So it was like I had all these things all at once, and I was like, I'm gonna have to cut something. And I was like, am I about to cut the job? Like, is that going to be the thing I decide to drop? And then I went for it, and somehow I'm making it through.
You're making it through. That's great. So what would you say the moment was? I guess that first sticker would have been the first moment where you decided I want to do art as a full-on career, or was there
Yeah,
like
I,
another
I had
specific moment?
always been very unsure of doing art as a career.
Hmm.
I've always been an artist forever. When I was little, like my mom gave me a giant blank book. I was like, fill this up as soon as you can.
Right.
And me and my sister, like we would draw all day, every day. And then I started doing commissions when I was in high school, and I was teaching portrait drawing at my local art center, which was great and terrible because when they would walk in and see that a 16-year-old was running the class, they were like, mm-mm. And I had people walk out all the time.
Oh
But
man.
I understand. I was a kid, but
It's like
people
that.
would see my work and like not think that I was,
Yeah. I was just going to say it's like when that grandpa on The Simpsons, he walks into like the strip club and he sees Bart and he walks right out. That's how they were for your
Yeah,
classes.
literally. That's people would walk in, look at me, and be like, "No." But I really enjoy doing realism. That's my main focus in art, like in terms of what I do for fun. Um, and then even my bearded dragon design initially was super realistic. The first version of the sticker is much different than the version that I sell now. I simplified it as I got better and kind of learned how these things should work for like production. It's my first enamel pins, which I have here, because I have
Ooh,
visual
Show them,
aids,
please. Yes.
we love
including
those.
plushies, which I will get into. Oh my god. This is the big board of pins that I have made. So
Oh wow.
I've designed and sold all of these ones.
Oh wow.
Wow.
Many, many. But the one I want to show you in particular is my first pin, which was that bearded dragon design. I don't know if it'll focus on it. She's not me, so it's not going to focus on her.
There it goes.
But
Focus. Yes.
it's a cool pin and everything, but it's got some problems, just like from me not being super versed in doing pins. And so like it was very I'm not trying to like discredit past me's work, but it's clear that I know what I'm doing a little better now with experience. I'm gonna give you all a side by side of these pins. There we go.
Yes.
One just has better color and like it's just clearer, easier to see.
Yeah.
Sorry, I do this all. I'm like, look at my pin.
No,
Like,
you're fine.
it's my fixation. I love me some pins.
Mm-hmm.
I collect them aside from just making them.
Mm.
My pin collection is that heart-shaped board back there. But whenever I had that like I can do this moment when I was at Colossal Con with my first show, and somebody came up and she looked at my little watermelon frog pin and she said, "That's really weird." And then she's like, "I guess I'll buy it." And then she left, and that was my first like in-face negative comment. It wasn't even that bad. She was just like, "That's really weird."
But
And she bought it for somebody. Right? So like, I was like, I mean, she bought it anyway. But I was so dreading that moment of like rejection. And then I got that moment and I was like, actually, I don't care. And I was like, cool. I think I can do this. Because I was always like, man, as soon as I got a negative comment, I'm going to quit this. I'm going to hate this. But it really wasn't that bad.
And have you found, how do I say, like other people in the indie community are like supportive and positive, or have you had any pushback, or how's that
It's
dynamic been for you?
50-50. Because like a lot of people gatekeep. They have like a problem with sharing manufacturers or even information on how to make the product. Whenever I started doing pins, there I had no idea how to do it at all. And I used a company that said they were American based and they weren't, but they charged twice as much because they just claimed that they were, but they were really just a middleman. Um, and like when I look at the pin design and compare it to like the new one, there are a lot of issues and mistakes that I made in the design process, but I didn't know any better because people that I would reach out to, like nobody was wanting to help. And so I'm super willing to help people. I give people my information all the time and I tell them to reach out. I actually had a panel at Colossal Con Sandusky explaining how to make enamel pins and another one designing stickers. And that was so great. And people were so excited to actually get some solid information. And I
Mm.
did end up making that into a YouTube video just because I was like, this is information you're going to need to listen to a couple times because it's just spewing information at you. But yeah, I did have somebody that was really nice to me when I started, and they sent me their manufacturer, and I'm still using that manufacturer. So it's like they were the goat for giving me that information.
Right.
But yeah, so it's really 50-50. I think, but it's like that in anything. You
Hmm.
know, like there's a level of like you're competing, but we're also a team because when you go to the artist alley, obviously everybody's there for the same thing. We all need to make money. We all want to share our art. And there are people who view that as we are all enemies. And then there are people who view us like we're coworkers. And I'm like a coworker person where I'm like, these are my new coworkers. You
Right.
know, it's like I support everybody and I want it to be fun.
Yep.
But I also very much avoid sharing too much personal stuff just because you really, I think, like, would I share this with my coworker? Like, that's literally
Mhm.
what I do. But sorry, if you can't tell, got a little bit of the ADHD. So
No,
I'll
you're
go
good.
like on tangents that go everywhere.
No, we
You're
love it.
doing great. I
Yes.
didn't notice.
Well, I was scared. I was like, God, are they following me?
Hmm. Yep, following.
Cool, cool.
Oh man. But yeah, it's like I understand that too, keeping like a certain like level of personal information to yourself. Like even though you want to get to know everybody, it's like especially if you do
Yeah,
conventions
it's
like
like,
on the East Coast, it's like
yeah.
that information, whatever you tell other people, it spreads really quickly. So I understand that. Mm.
Yeah, and it's like all of that went out the window because I broke my leg on December 31st last year. And so I had just become a single income. And so I was doing this alone for the first time ever. And I was like, oh my God, I have a house payment, all these things to be responsible for. And then I broke my leg walking on a sidewalk that was damaged. And I tripped. I sprained my right ankle and then I landed on my left leg and I broke both the bones in the bottom part clean. And it was really rough. And I posted that to my Instagram. I was like, guys, I just broke my leg. And that's when the independent artist thing starts to get scary because I missed a bunch of shows because of it. Because I mean, I couldn't walk for like a month. And that was still miraculous that I could walk after a month. Uh, and like I'm still dealing with it.
Right.
And it's really hard to do conventions when you've got a massive injury like this. Uh, and so then it's like I'm in this job that doesn't give me health care, and I'm in this job that has no time off. Like if I don't work, I don't get money. Period.
Right.
So, and I know some people were like, "Hey, it's a lot of time to draw." Like the amount of painkillers I was on for like 3 months, like I literally missed 3 months of this year because of all the painkillers I was on.
Mm.
Because breaking your leg is like one of the worst pains ever, I guess. Um, and so they give you a lot of stuff for it because it's so bad. But I had started posting on my Instagram that that leg break had happened to explain why I wasn't at shows. And I had some family members go to shows with me or go run shows for me. It was really helpful and nice. Um, but definitely it's that double-edged sword, you know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But how this comes back to like sharing personal stuff is like I had been sharing that publicly and posting like x-rays, and I was like, everybody knows that I'm getting better, you know, like trying to help everybody kind of keep up with it because I was like, we got to be invested now because people were checking in on me and everything, which was really sweet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was at a show and I had like overdone it, and it was like an hour before the show was going to open. And so I got situated, got everything set up, and I just sat down and then I just started crying because like there was just so much going on and I was so overwhelmed. And then like the person in the table next to me leaned over and she was like, "Hey, is this about your leg?" And I was like, "Do I know you?" And it was like so funny because I was like, "We know each other? I'm sorry." And she was like, "Yeah, we know each other." And I was like, and she had seen it on my story. So like she had remembered, and she was so sweet. She had offered to help me at shows and everything. She was an
Oh.
angel, but I was just like, I was like in this space where I was like, nobody knows me anyway. I'm just gonna cry. And then I was like, just kidding. Everybody knows my personal
You
things because I
know
put them
me
out
well.
there. And it's like you think you're just talking to the void,
Mm-hmm.
or like when you're in public at like a convention, you think I'm having this conversation with a person in front of me, but everybody is taking it in. And that's like something that's really important, I think, to remember because you are on display all the time, you know, and like the way you act is how you act for your brand and everything too. And so I try not to be the person that's crying at my table because my day is bad or something, but you know, leg's gonna leg. So I was like, I need to get this out or I'm gonna freak out, but I'm not gonna walk somewhere. So it was like, what am I gonna do? Cry at my table, you know?
Was there ever a point, and this is the advice that I give everybody, you just cut it off and put a peg there and just go live
Oh,
on the sea?
you know, I actually think about it sometimes. I already am halfway there. They put a pole in my leg. So it's like,
Oh,
I mean, it's inside. So
great.
nobody knows that I'm a peg leg, but like I know.
Make some awesome karate kicks.
Oh my God. Yeah, it was a once in a lifetime. Hope nobody ever experiences that experience.
Yeah.
For sure.
I hope for a speedy recovery for you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been going well, but it's going to be a while still. But like I walk and stuff, so that's good.
Mm.
Just grateful to be walking, honestly.
Right. Mm-mm-mm. Do
But
you?
yeah,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. So you don't create your enamel pens like handmade anymore. You get it from a company. Is that what you're saying?
So you actually can't hand make them,
Really?
and there are no manufacturers in the U.S.
Oh,
It's actually illegal to have the manufacturing equipment. That's why.
really?
So yeah, so
Oh,
the reason is because you can make coins. So they don't want people counterfeiting currency. Um, so you have to outsource it. The only equipment in the United States is actually with the Secretary of Defense. They have the equipment, and you know they'll mint money and they'll do all these different things. But you have to get it from another country, which is why the tariffs have been an issue
hmm,
because it's one of those things you can't even make here, you know. And it's like my main thing, you know,
gotcha.
but also my new main thing are my
Ziploc.
plushies.
Ziploc.
This is Barry the strawberry frog.
Adorable. I
He
love
is my
it.
son. Yeah, I actually have 10 flavors. It's a problem. I don't have all 10 with me. But this is Clyde. He's a blueberry. He's also kind of a cowboy. He's got a sensitive side, bakes cookies, you know. But yeah, I making these plushies has been such a game changer for me. I have never loved something that I've made as much as I love these plushies. Just look at his little
It's
face.
so cute.
Oh, and then part of running a business is being responsible. And I decided not to be. And I ordered something ridiculous.
Oh
This
wow.
is Big Barry. He is an absolute unit. He travels to shows with me, and I hike him up into the sky so that everybody knows where to find Barry. But yeah, let me give you a size comparison because I know we're on camera.
Oh
Oh
wow.
yeah, that is
He
yeah.
is giant. And in my poor business decisions, I've decided to stock these and sell them. And we'll see where they go in my house because storing these has already been an ordeal. And then you have Big Berry, and he's like a toddler. He's like a child.
Oh man.
Sorry for that.
No, you're fine.
That was great.
Berry man.
Be weird and goofy. We love it.
That's like my whole thing. I can't stop, guys.
So you make stickers, plushies, and the enamel pins. Is there anything else that you make, Monica?
Yeah, so I make keychains and like I just started a sticker club actually, which has been a lot of fun. Because I do a personalized little letter for everybody each month with a corresponding sticker and a little doodle. And it's just so fun. And I have so much fun coming up with the ideas because they're kind of like, most of the time, they're sarcastic animals or they're things that I can't sell face to face because I am kid friendly. So I'll put like my my more aggressive designs here, I guess is a good way to put it. Like this one that I just did. It says I didn't even fuck around. Why am I finding out? Sorry, it's backwards. But I didn't even fuck around. Why am I finding out? Because that's me after my leg break. I was like, come on. Why? But I just try and make literally everything all the time. I'm making figures, which I 3D sculpted myself, and now I'm stuck painting them because it's so much work. But I love them so much, so it's like a labor of love with everything, I'm telling you. Because that's one thing that I make, like start to finish, is the figures. Because like the plushies are manufactured, stickers are manufactured. But having things manufactured makes it so much easier to do this for a living. Mm-hmm. Just because I do a show like pretty much every week. So I don't have time during the week. Clearly, as discussed, I am unprepared for the show I'm leaving for in like 12 hours. But having to add in time to make the products makes it so much more work.
Gotcha. I'm going to pull up your Instagram, and I noticed I wanted to ask you actually, what made you want to do more an animal theme?
Oh yeah,
creatures.
I don't do fan art. That's like my first thing. I don't have a problem with fan art. I do fan art for fun. I've got this is an Unis Honest drawing that I made.
Nice.
If you're not familiar, it's Markiplier and a friend, and I love I just love them. And like, so I'll make fan art for myself all the time, but I don't sell fan art because I was forced to take a copyright law class when I was in college, and that scared me off of ever making fan art and selling it. It was just like so intimidating to hear from a copyright lawyer exactly how they will destroy you if they catch you. And I was like, no thanks.
Frae, on my screen it's like a black square.
Yeah, I got nothing.
You don't see it either?
Mm-mm. No.
Oh no. Oh no.
Do you want me to try?
Let's see if I can do something else. Give me one sec. Do. Come, jerk.
The plushies are so wonderful. I love plushies.
I can tell you all about Barry too. So like Barry's adventurous. He loves s'mores and camping. He's kind of like the group leader. So he's the one that everybody became friends with.
Can you see it now?
Nice. It's thinking on my end. There's little blue dots going.
Yeah, same.
Okay, well.
Have you guys been hearing my chair creak like this whole time?
No.
I only just now heard it, but haven't heard it any other time.
Hopefully it's not like in the entire recording. Because I move a lot.
Okay. Well, I tried to do something and I don't think it's working.
All right. No.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I tried to be good and promotional and stuff, and I failed.
It's okay. You. We still like you.
Thank you. But yes. So did you?
There we go.
There it is. Yeah.
Yay, I did it. Okay.
So
I'll
what's the story
scroll.
behind the animals again? I'm sorry.
Well, since I don't do fan art, that pretty much eliminates any of like the pop culture media that I'm into as like an option.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always loved frogs. I was Frog Kid. I was the one that had a book with all the information about frogs, and I would go around catching them, and it was the whole thing. My grandma gave me a frog plushie in 2006. It was a Webkins. I don't know if you guys remember Webkins, but that is childhood for me. Um,
Very nice.
and it was a little frog, and so since then they were my favorite animal. And so it started off with my bearded dragon, which is kind of, whenever I drew her, I was like, there's not a lot of beardy stuff out. Like maybe I'll put this on for like out for sale. And I just started adding more and more reptiles because people were asking for them all the time. Like somebody this weekend just asked me if I would do a tarantula, and I was like, you know what, that sounds great. So you can like see my little progress
Tarantula?
photos.
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yep, I'm working on it. She was like, I have a pink-toed tarantula, and I was like, I didn't know they came in pink. So obviously I had to draw that immediately. But yeah, I also like the animals just bring me joy. Like I just love drawing them, especially with funny words, and funny sayings.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
Yeah, there's all my plushies in their bios. So many.
So you do commissions for like their plushies.
I actually don't do commissions like at all. That was like the one thing that just sucked the life out of my creativity when
Gotcha.
I
Oh,
used to
did
do
it?
that. But
Oh.
back whenever I did commissions, I was doing realism.
Okay.
So it wasn't like I was doing stuff like this.
Gotcha.
Yeah, because I do traditional oil painting, and that's a long commitment. It's a long time, a lot of work. And for me, it's more of like it's something that I do for me. So I haven't really tried doing commissions. I pretty much just wait, and if people ask me to make something and I feel inspired, I'll do it.
Right.
But I don't like having that pressure, so I just don't do commissions.
Gotcha. Mm-mm. I was reading the sayings on your stickers.
Yeah,
They're cute.
Yeah, they're
thank
fantastic.
you. Yeah, I just got a wholesale order from a possum themed gift shop, and I was like, this is the best. This is what it's for.
Very nice. Uh, if you could do a plushie based on your personality, what would it look like?
Oh, that's a
So
great
I
question.
don't have her with me, but I already have.
You already made
And
one?
yeah, Melanie the fruit frog. She's me.
Oh.
I don't have Melanie because she sold out, and this always happens. I'll bring one for display, and so I brought one for display to a show,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, yeah, it's for pre-orders only. And then somebody just falls in love with the plushie, and then I just can't say no. And I'm like, okay, takers. So yeah, I sold off my personal Melanie, which was
Oh,
sad because like I have got Kiki here with me, Kiki the kiwi, and she doesn't have a tag because she's the sample. So she's my Kiki because she's the first one. But Melanie is the artist of the group with the fruit frogs, and watermelon's my favorite fruit. And that was actually the first fruit frog that I drew. And that was really where my business took a turn and like started to become bigger, was when I started doing the fruit frogs. And so like Melanie has like she's just been the one for me because she was the first one that started the idea, and then I ended up making 10 flavors, and they all have their personalities, and people who love them want like all of their stuff with them, which I totally get because I'm the same way.
no.
And yeah, so Melanie's already me. If you read her little bio,
Is that
it's
one
got
in
my
the left hand corner?
yeah,
Okay, if I
her
click on this, will it
watermelon.
show the full thing?
It should, yeah.
Probably.
Okay.
Yep.
Aha.
In the painting, she's not spending time with her sister. She's lost in a book. Someday, Melanie wants to have her own gallery. Very
That
nice.
that is still my long-term goal. I would
Hmm.
love to have a gallery show at some point in my life.
Yeah,
When
that
I retire from doing this, I'll be an oil painter full time. That's my dream.
really. Would you go back to realism?
Yeah, I still do realism.
Okay,
I don't have anything with me, but I would love to show you guys a painting.
gotcha.
Yeah, if I'm allowed to like run away, I'll grab something.
Yes, you
Yeah.
can.
If If you
I
want to, that's probably
so
fine.
you guys could just edit that out, right?
We can,
Yes.
and we can also fill it with promo stuff. So
I was gonna say, don't you show. Oh wait, I can turn off my camera. I was gonna say, don't show me running away. I skitter like a crab. I don't walk like a normal person. Okay, I'll be right back.
it's the perfect time to say if you're enjoying what you are seeing right now, go ahead and like and share and follow us for more content.
Absolutely.
Also, I am working on my fourth manga, in
Woo
Lock
woo.
Volume 4 on Indiegogo. If you want to go over there, throw me a couple of bucks. Um, $5 will get you Volume 4. So head over to Indiegogo for Inlock Volume 4, which should be out October. Mm-mm-mm.
That is exciting.
Yes. So labor of love.
It always is.
Yep. But this
I'm
is
having
awesome.
technical difficulties, so
Yep.
there we go.
Mm-mm-mm.
And let's see. I probably shared this on our last episode, but I finally paid my artist to start my cover art for my collection of poems. So I'm super pumped about that. I'm I'm hoping to have it published and available by my birthday, which is in November. So we'll see. I'm hoping. Um, so yeah, I'll keep y'all posted on that. That's the only real solid development I have to share. Everything else is still up and coming.
And welcome back.
Hello. Oh my
And
god.
the
Sorry.
light, it burns.
Oh, well, I had to turn on my actual light, which took away my beautiful heart signal.
Oh no.
But you couldn't really see him. Okay, so are you guys familiar with Hosier? He
Yes.
sang "Take Me to Church."
Mm-hmm.
That was like his big song.
Yeah, yeah.
But the real MVPs are just obsessed with everything he does, because that's me. I'm obsessed with that man. I love him.
Mm-hmm.
So this is a painting that I'm working on of Hosier. Oh, it looks so jank
Wow.
because I'm like holding it weird. But
Wow.
this is so this is actually called oh my god, it's called Hades in the Springtime. And so I always picture Hades, like the god of the underworld,
Mm.
as like kind of sad but feeling at peace when he's among the flowers, because that reminds him of his wife, that he misses. And when there are flowers, that means that she's away from him. So it's like Hosier, my love, uh, leaning against a tree, and he's got all these like flowers growing into his hair. Like the flowers are reaching out to him too, because she misses him too, but she has to be on Earth doing her job. And pomegranates are their symbolic fruit. I don't know, like if you guys are into Greek mythology, but I am. It's a problem.
Yeah.
And so Persephone eats 6 seeds of the pomegranate, and she has to stay with him 6 months out of the year every year. And that's how they became husband and wife. And she hated him, but then she grew to love him. And so it's like this longing is kind of what I was trying to capture with the painting. It's not done. There's a lot left that needs done.
It looks great so far.
But I really enjoy oil painting, but I can only do it when I'm like really in the mood. So, and it's a big commitment to oil paint. It's just getting all the stuff together, and like it dries really, really slow. Yeah, my favorite part on this right now is probably the little bees. There are little bees everywhere. Try and show some little bees. There's one hanging out on a pomegranate. There are other little bees. Oh, there's one. But it was really fun. Whenever I painted these flowers, I literally went outside and I ripped the flowers off my bush because I've got this super invasive vine. And I was like, this is perfect because they're like wrapping around him.
Mm-hmm.
They're like grabbing him just like they grab and strangle out my bushes, which is so annoying. But I was like, what a beautiful idea of like Hades leaning against a tree, wishing he could see his wife, and the flowers are like holding him. I've read every retelling of that story. I'm obsessed. So yeah, oil
So
paintings. I
beautiful.
do that.
That's amazing.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
sharing that, Monica.
Yeah,
Hey,
I love
Frey,
talking about art. So
I don't mean to interrupt, but Tanner did not respond to me. Do you know how I could just go back to the normal layout for the, like
Normal layout
sharing,
for the cameras.
like to get, yeah, it's like to get out of the Instagram sharing. I hit stop sharing and I didn't do anything. I don't know if I just need to go to a different tab
oh, because
or.
I know like my stuff looks the same.
Yeah,
Like we don't
I
see
don't.
the
I don't
Instagram.
see it anymore on our screen.
Oh, okay. Maybe I just need to make it bigger. Oh, there you are.
There he is.
Did I just hit?
You're like, thank God.
Oh, I go back to this one. I was wondering, and then just click on this. Like just click on the tab. Oh, I don't have to actually click on it. I just hovered over it. Okay.
Stop. It automatically stopped on this screen, but you were still on that screen, so you just had to go
Oh.
onto the other screen.
Oh, thank you. Okay. Did you want me to pull up anything else, like your Etsy shop or anything,
Yeah,
Monica?
you can look at my Etsy. You can just go to multicolormind.com. That should work. Hopefully. We're going to find out if I look first.
Yeah, it says Etsy on my end. I'm assuming that's the
Cool.
correct one. Yeah, looks right. There we go.
Very nice. Your pictures are
Yeah,
really well crafted. Like I
thank
like
you.
how you
I
have
put
like
a
the
lot
fruit
of
in the
work into it.
background.
Thank you. Yeah, I literally bought fresh fruit and I sliced it and I filled a pie pan. And I just stabbed the pan into it. I was like, this is too cute.
Nice.
Oh my God, 5 years on Etsy.
5 years. Woo, 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 woo.
It's crazy.
So you started when did you say? You started during the pandemic
Yeah,
doing
it was
plushies.
2020. No, that was just a sticker. And then
Oh, that
the
was just
plushies are more recent.
more
But
recent.
it was stickers, then it was pins, and then it was everything.
Did you notice a jump in like your sales when you started incorporating your plushies?
Absolutely. It's a brutal hit when I have to go to a show without them because that's right now I don't have them. And it's my own fault for not restocking them quickly enough, like cuz they take a long time to make. But it's like I feel that their presence is missed when I'm at shows now because I was so used to selling them and I love talking about them. And
Mm-hmm.
I've been bringing one of each, so I have all 10 of them on the table, and I've got a big old pre-order sign. But it's just the worst when people come over and they get so excited and they pick them up and they're like, "I need this," and I'm like, "You can't have it." Like that's the worst thing ever. I hate it so much. So like I'm not even bringing them this weekend because I can't deal with that anymore. It's so hard having to tell people they can't have it. The only reason I would do that is because I was promoting the Kickstarter. I don't know if you're familiar with Kickstarter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I was promoting the Kickstarter, and so that was a lot. And it was like I needed to show them to people so that they knew what they looked like. And then it was like a lot of people getting emotionally attached to not being able to take them home.
No.
I know it's hard. I'm obviously a plushie collector. I've got many. But so I know what it's like to fall in love with them and then not be able to get them.
So do you go to like when you go to conventions and you're like splurging some money, do you go to other people and specifically look for different plushies?
Yeah, I try not to shop the vendors at all. I only do like Artist Alley or artists that are in the vendor hall. I
Yeah.
try not to shop a lot from resellers just because like I know the struggle of being the artist at the show that isn't selling anything.
Yeah.
Like because that I've been there at shows where it's like, oh, I didn't make $100 this weekend. Like it's crazy. It's upsetting. But yeah, I've got some plushies from some other people. Oh God,
You ever do like
I'm
plushie
gonna
trades?
grab Skitter and show you some of the other ones. But I do. Hold on one second. Thank God for rolling chairs. Like this is the best thing ever.
Sorry to
This
make
is
you
one.
walk so much.
Yeah, don't you know I have a broken leg? Actually, no, it's no problem. But this is Eli. He's a duck and he's got a little booty.
Oh, that's cute.
This is it's Uni and Umi, and they're wonderful. We're friends in real life from conventions. We met at conventions. And
Mm.
she actually shared with me her manufacturer for plushies, and that's the only reason I have them. So I will be forever indebted to her because I was like, I'll never do plushies. It's too scary. And then I got the sample, and I was like, well, I'm not going to order them, but I'll get 3 more samples. And then I was like, okay, I'm ordering them. Like, it was just denial over and over and over again. And then this is Noopy from Kitty Acrylics. And you want to talk about an addicting plushie. She's got little beads in her feet,
Nice.
adorable colors, and they come in so many different colors. So I've actually got 4, which is like, it's an addiction. Every time I see her at a show, she's got new ones. And I'm like, they need friends. So, and that's also what happens with mine, is that Kiki, Melanie, and Daisy, they're all sisters. And then if you're like me and you've got lore, you're like, well, I think Clyde has a crush on Melanie. And then it's like, well, Clyde and Barry are best friends. So, and then it's like, you want them all so that they're all together,
Right.
But so yeah, I do love supporting my other artists' like work. And that's how I meet a lot of people. Walk over and I'm like, give me this. I need this so bad. And then this was like an independent Kickstarter. This is the only plushie this person's ever made. This is Zorro, and it's from Adopt a Fella.
Oh.
And he's like an endangered type of fox. So cute. It reminds me of a Webkin, like the way he's built. And like, this person was just like, you know what? I have a passion about this certain animal, and there's not a single plushie on this earth of this animal. I'm going to make it. And had a Kickstarter and made it a reality. And I love that because like that's like the creative dream, like to make something tangible. And so I love supporting people doing that in any way that I can, which is not always financially. So I try and share stuff because I am also a broke bitch. So I could only purchase so many things.
Monica, was there anything specific you wanted me to show from your website or no? Your Etsy shop?
Well, you can see that Barry there is like he's my most popular item. That strawberry frog pen. So honestly, like, I mean, he's sitting there staring at us. So there's nothing specific that I think I haven't already shown because I'm already showing off the plushies and everything.
Nice. Another creative question. If you were stuck on an island, which 3 of your frog plushies would you need to help you survive with their skill sets?
Oh, man. Well, I have not made one yet that's like good at building things. Next. That'll be the next one. Because I gotta say, they're not very skilled. I love my babies. They don't have a lot of skills. Not survival skills anyway.
Okay,
but
how about
Malibu the coconut?
Okay.
So like he's like camp guy, or like campfire guitar guy. That's what I always call him. So like at least he would keep me entertained. So like while I go mad on the island, I'd have entertainment. And then like Clyde knows how to DM. So like we could play D&D. You just need your imagination. Like
right, of course.
We'll just imagine the dice rolling.
Exactly.
It'll be fine.
Yeah, of course.
And then it would have to be Daisy because she knows how to garden. She will keep us alive with food.
There you go.
We don't talk about if the fruit frogs eat fruit. Is it cannibalism? Don't know.
Something to ponder.
I'm writing a kid's book about them right now.
Are
that's
you?
on my mind constantly.
Can you tell us more about that? I'm so curious.
Yeah, so it's still in the concept stages right now because I wasn't sure how to illustrate them. But obviously, I love coming up with little stories of them. So I got in touch with a creativity coach. And her Insta is inspired by Bryn, or it's like Brinspiration. She's got multiple. But and she was really helpful. Just trying to iron out I was like, where's it start? I've got these frogs. What do I do? She's like, well, you got to figure out, are they in this world or are they in their own world? And I was like, well, I guess it's their own world, but it's like this one, like it's similar. And then it's like, well, do we want to do multiple books? And I was like, yeah. So the first book, the one that I'm working on, is how they all meet each other. So it's basically like Barry is going to a new town. So he's like the new kid in town. And as I said, he's kind of the group leader. So he is wandering around trying to find some friends because he's new. So he runs into Melanie at the park because she's oil painting at the park. She's like painting something. And then Melanie invites them to go to the arcade with Kiki, who loves games. And Kiki and Clyde are planning a fire or like a D&D game or something in the evening. And so like they all meet up, and now there's 10. Because when I started this, there were only the 4 of them. And then I started this story and I was like, okay, 4 frogs, I can manage that storyline. Now there's 10 of them, so I'm not quite sure. I think I'm going to do, the idea is to do like 3 of them and kind of have like Barry meeting the main 4, because these are the main 4. It's like My Little Pony. You got the main 6, you know what I mean? Like there's many characters and then there's a bunch of characters. But we'll have like the main 4 becoming friends, and then we'll have other stories about other themes for children that involve all 10 of them. If that makes sense.
It makes sense, yes. Yeah.
And did you
Yeah.
think you'd write children's books?
It's something that was always on my mind. I wrote one already once that I did not publish about my cat. So my cat snorts. She's got a little defect in her nose, and it's the cutest thing ever. And so I wrote this little story about her, and I just like shelved it, did nothing with it. And then I had written one when I was younger about my dad because he traveled for work. So I wrote like a storybook for kids of traveling parents, because I was like, man, what would I have wanted to hear when I was little and going through this? And it's like really cute. And I still think I'll make that one because I looked back on it after like 5 years and was like, you know what? It's actually pretty solid. I might do something with this.
That's a good idea. So you're just continuously expanding.
Yeah, it's kind of a problem, honestly, because now I've got 50 big berries on the way and nowhere to put them,
Oh, goodness.
But I think that's just my life in summary, is endlessly trying to make something new, like forever and ever and ever. It just never ends. And I think that's great. Like I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
But it also definitely, it can destroy you too, because I'm also a perfectionist. So when things aren't quite right, like I used to have a really hard time with it, and it would just keep me from doing art at all for a while. And then it was like, well, I'll just draw this little frog and just see. And it was like releasing that perfectionism that I had from doing realism for so long. Because like I'd drawn my first like cartoony thing, and I went to the art center. So I was like 16 or something. Might have been 17 because I was looking at making a college portfolio. And I included the cartoony one amongst all my realism. And the guy had like taken it out of my portfolio and was like, never do something like this again. And I was like, okay. Because I was like, you're right. Yeah, I should do realism. I'm good at it. Like, whatever. And then just like never let myself be like creative, if that makes sense. It was always like very structured, referencing photos, trying to make it as perfect as possible, which like I do enjoy. I really love the challenge, which is why I do it so much. And it's really started to show in my style. But whenever I drew my first little watermelon frog, and I was like, wow, that was actually pretty fun. And then like it became this job for me. And it was really cute because my parents, they were a little nervous. They'd never heard of this being like a job that you could have.
Mm-hmm.
They were like, we always need to do something creative, but we're just worried about it, And I was like, that's fair. And so they came to a show with me for the first time. And I had this customer walk up and we were talking. And my parents were standing behind me. And my mom starts crying. And she's like, oh my God, she's so good at this. Like, do you see her? And my dad's like, that's my girl. Oh my God. Like, can you contain yourselves for 5 seconds of talking to somebody? But it was just like really sweet because like they didn't quite get the con thing, and then they saw it in action and they were like, okay, this can be a career. Because my he's a little bit of a penny pincher, to put it nicely. So he was always like, you gotta be a lawyer, you gotta be a pharmacist. He was like, that's the big thing. And I was like, Dad, I don't know. Like, I worked at a bank and that was like soul sucking for me. I got to be creative. But being creative is like the biggest blessing in my life for sure.
Nice. Mm-mm-mm. You have any questions, Katie?
Um, oh, not at the moment. No.
When you look at where you are now compared to when you first started, which lessons would you give yourself to your first starting self?
Um, I guess it's to do what you want to do because that's the biggest advice when people ask me about how to get into this. I say create what you love and the success will follow. I always say that to people because when I first started doing this, I was like, oh, I should do fan art. I should do the stuff that people buy, stuff people want. Had no success. Like it just wasn't working and I didn't enjoy drawing it. Now it's like, the moment that I think of something it's on my brain, I have to do it. And that's why I spent my whole day yesterday drawing a spider instead of prepping for the show. Because like when I have the inspiration, I just do it. Like I didn't even
Hmm.
realize it took me 6 hours
Right.
because I was just so in the zone. And I was
Hmm.
like, oh, it's night, but and that's like what every artist, every creative strives for is when you're in that zone, that feeling like I'm making this thing. And I know there's a saying going around right now. It says, just make it. You can make it good later. And that is one of the best sayings I've
Hmm.
ever heard in reference to like being an artist.
Hmm.
Just make it. You can make it good later. And that is so important because there is such a pressure, to do a perfect job. And that held me back for so long. Like I can't even believe that I do this for a job. I'm like, man, when they find out that I'm not an artist, like I've got this thing in my head that I'm like faking or something. But no, it's like it's just crazy. I can't believe that this is my life.
Nice. Yeah. Mm, yeah, it's difficult to. You're in a great position. I'm very envious. So,
Yeah,
um, I had parents that were just like that too. They were like, I don't know if you can make this into a thing. Even when I went to college, I wanted to do fine arts, but they taught me into doing graphic design because they were like, you can do advertising and be more
yeah,
marketable. And I'm like,
thrilling.
so I did that instead.
Hmm.
So I regret it. but but it's
Well, the thing
yeah,
is, there's no point regretting it
yeah,
because like you will everything that we do, we
yeah,
learn something from,
yeah.
and
It
that'll
kind
help you. You
yeah,
know?
it did help me with like as far as like design. Like
Yeah,
I have really good like composition in my artwork and
yeah.
stuff.
When you have an eye for it, you
Right,
do, and
right.
it's like really crazy. I had gone up to this one artist and I said, I can tell you've taken a typography class. And she
Mm.
was like, yeah, I actually love typography. I was like, I can tell because of just how perfect your text is. Because, like, I
It's like
used to be a person that could just type it and leave it. Now it's like, that's driving me crazy.
it's like one little picture in the corner and then this big old type font.
Yeah.
you know.
Oh my God. But no, it's definitely like it's wonderful and I love it. But as I stated, there are downfalls to this career,
Yeah.
like health insurance and retirement.
Right.
But yeah, I think I guess like I love being an artist, and I think everybody should follow the creativity that they have because as people, like we're here to create. It's
Right.
our whole thing.
Now, how do you kind of help yourself during those hard times so other people could get a sense? Like, do you get like a part-time job somewhere or
It hasn't come to that yet.
hmm,
When I broke my leg, I lived with my parents for a month because I couldn't walk,
hmm,
and it was kind of insane to go from being like an adult who was married, who had a house and dog and a job and a business and like all this stuff to single leg broken, can't walk, can't work. And like my mom had to wash my hair in the sink because like I couldn't make it into the shower, because like I literally couldn't walk. It was really bad. And it was like this harsh reset of
Mm.
like this person that I thought I was going to be with forever was not there anymore. And, had even abandoned me while I was at the hospital. And it was like this, I am alone. That was like the biggest shock whenever I went through the leg break. And then it was actually, I'm not. And it was, I need to lean on the people around me
Right.
because it's really hard to know when to ask for help. And that was then.
Mm-hmm.
I like whenever my parents, we got to the house, I was just such a mess because I was obviously emotional about the leg break, and the divorce had been a month prior. So like it had started a month prior. The divorce was actually finalized not even a month ago.
Oh,
It's
wow.
been that long. And so like I was going through grieving my relationship and like worried about the business, if the business was going to have to close because of my leg break, because I just can't do it without being physically there, and like all this stuff. And like having my parents and my family support was the biggest thing. And like I didn't do any artwork or work towards the business for like 2 months, like a month and a half, 2 months. Like my friends were coming over and packing my orders for me,
Mm.
and my parents were helping me with my bills. As soon as like I got to the house, my mom was like, I want you to write down every bill that you have right now. And I was like, cool. Because, then it became like I have a mortgage, like I own my house, I don't rent. So it's like, are you going to lose your house? Things like that. So it gets really real, really quick.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is knowing when to ask for help, because I just couldn't have made it through without asking for help from my family.
Gotcha.
And I'm blessed to have a family. But we also have that found family, where my best friend was extremely helpful too, so
Right. Wow. Yeah.
it's been an insane time. I feel like I'm a completely different person than I was a year ago.
Right. Yeah. That sounds incredibly insane. Yes, it does. But I'm glad you're able to power through it and still stay strong, keep your business alive. It
Yeah,
takes
I
real
was really
courage.
worried about my creativity. And I know that's like a random thing to be worried about when your leg isn't working.
Yeah.
But I was like, what if all this hard times ruins my creative drive?
Right.
I was like, oh my God, I'm never going to draw again. And like every time you feel like that, like you felt like that before. Like,
Mm-hmm.
come on. And like if I need like a reset, looking at other people's art is always the best inspiration for me. Whether
Got
it's like going to a museum or even scrolling Instagram, like I love when people draw Chapel Roan or like Sabrina Carpenter. They're always so creative.
it.
Or even seeing people do like creative music or anything like that'll also help you if you're in like a funk creatively. It's
All right.
like, wow, look at these amazing things.
Nice.
Guys, we're hitting every emotion.
I mean, that's what we're
We
supposed to
laughed,
do.
we cried.
We're gonna laugh, cry. We're gonna feel angry.
We're
We're
gonna
gonna
reflect.
yes. We're gonna reflect.
Wipe tears with Frog. It's fine. Everything's fine.
So what's next for you? Besides, you have Colossal Con tomorrow. No, this weekend. Tomorrow.
Unfortunately, I'm so excited, but dear God, am I not? One of my friends is going. I texted her and I was like, "Hey, I haven't started prep yet," and she was like, "Girl, I have to leave my house in 4 hours." And I was like, "No," because she's so much further of a drive, and it was just really funny because
Goodness.
we were just both in it. Yeah, and I have after that Cleveland Gaming Classic, which is in September, sometime. I'm very bad with keeping track of dates. When you start doing shows every week, you get like that. It's just impossible to keep track of it. I have a note on my phone. That's all I do, and I check it.
Mm.
Like yesterday, I was like, I should probably book a hotel for this weekend. And everybody's always like, "What are you doing? Like, why do you wait till the last minute? What if you can't get anything?" And I'm
Just
like,
live
come
off your
on, there'll
car.
be
It's
somewhere
fine.
to sleep.
You live in a car. Just push the back seat.
Yeah, and my dad, like I said, he traveled for work, so he's all about hotels. I was leaving Chicago, which was a couple weeks ago, and that's a 9 hour drive for me. And he was like, just drive till you get tired, pull in the first hotel you see. And I was like, that's the plan, Dad. And then I did that, and I'm like talking to people, and they're like, are you kidding? You didn't make a reservation? And it's like, back in the day, you would just roll up to a hotel and be like, can I stay here?
Right.
And obviously I did that. But it's just like really funny.
So
No preparation.
so you're from Pennsylvania and you traveled to Chicago. What's the farthest you've traveled for a con?
I went to MegaCon Orlando, and the reason that I make that face is because it was a month after my leg break. So I was like, I can't miss the show. It's the biggest show I've ever booked in my life. It was one of those ones you apply to and you think, oh, I won't get in anyway. And then I got in and was like, now I have to deal with this because, like, how am I going to get to Florida? And so my legendary brother-in-law, I say that he has two wives, but only one that has benefits. I say that all the time to him because I use him so much. But he went with me to Florida, so like he did the brunt of the driving. I was on a mobility scooter because I couldn't walk. When I wasn't, I was using my cane or my walker, and so like I was useless, like at that show. Like I couldn't do much. It was all on him, and he did so much work for that show to happen, and it was so wonderful and kind. It's that thing, know when to ask for help, because I could not have done it alone. And I feel that if I had missed the show, that was the only show that I was like, if I don't go to that show, like, how am I going to pay any of my bills? Like, I can't just miss it. So yeah, it's been a time. Definitely starting from rock bottom this year. But hey, it gets better.
It does. It does.
It's believable, right? Like, did that sound right? Did that sound good?
Well, I mean, if you're at rock bottom, there's no other choice but to go up, right? So
I know.
just think of it as like a new beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you're fine.
For sure. And that thing, I was like, oh, don't share personal information. And I'm like, guys, I cried for a month.
No, you're good.
But I talk about it pretty openly now at this point.
Got you.
I drove by a billboard in Ohio that said, divorce is a sin, you will go to hell. And I said that to my sister, who's very religious, and she was just like, and she just straight explained the Bible verse to me, and I was like, cool. She was like, so I think you're good, and I was like, cool. But I was like having a rough night, and then I saw this giant ass billboard that was like, you specifically, you're gonna go to hell, and I was like, cool.
It's like pointing at, it has a big hand just pointing
Yeah,
at
literally,
you.
it felt like that.
Oh my goodness gracious.
Guys, like, maybe some other time, like, I gotta tell you the light break story. It's like a sitcom. Like, you can't make this shit up. I was just like, and I talked my way through the entire experience because I was alone when I broke my leg, and I called for help and nobody was there, and so like I had to call 911 myself and everything, and it was like insane. But the whole time I'm just talking, and I'm like parked alone in this like hospital hallway on a bed, and they hadn't given me the meds yet, and I was just like talking to the ceiling, and nurses kept walking by and being like, okay. And I was like, listen, I'm alone and I don't want to be alone right now, so I'm not alone anymore. I'm with me. Like, I was like, God, they're going to think I'm here for something else because I'm just sitting here just going. Like, but hey, they say to do that when you're scared, like to talk through things. Like, I've heard that about like, oh, if you're ever like in a situation where you're like really afraid, just talk to yourself. Man, that is some accurate advice because I got through that whole leg break thing just by my own company being like, hey, we're going to be fine. It's going to be okay. Like I say to myself in an empty hospital hallway.
You sure it's going to be okay? Yeah, it's going to be fine. I think so. What about this? Don't even worry about that. Like,
oh my God. And then I'm like making jokes because I get it from my dad. He was like, when he had a heart attack, he was in the hospital cracking jokes with everybody. And we're like, bro, you're in the hospital right now. But, and then there's me the exact same way. And like, I'm there and I'm making jokes and none of the nurses are laughing. And I was like, this could not get worse. It's like I'm cracking jokes left and right and everybody's like, it was the worst. I was like,
That's
no,
so disappointing.
please kidding me.
Oh man.
Anybody that knows me has already heard that story. So
Got you.
it's like if you're at the bar and it's like, oh man, we get to that one part of the night where Monica's gonna start telling the leg story again. Because like it's like a rehearsed story at this point. I'm like, yeah, sit down, pull up a chair, let me tell you about my leg.
So back when I was in kindergarten, I robbed my first bank. Like,
I wish I had a cool story for how I broke my leg. Skydiving.
well,
Do you have any more questions, Frae?
I don't actually. Oh, you stopped.
Yeah.
Uh, so you're going to Colossal Con. What else are you doing?
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
have projects coming or?
Oh yeah, back to the actual thing that we're doing here. Well, I just finished a Kickstarter, so I still have an open pre-order for my plushies. But in terms of shows, I'm gonna look at the list because it's the only way I know anything these days. I have Cleveland Gaming Classic is September 19th to the 21st, and it's obviously in Cleveland. That's a fun show because there's an open arcade. So whenever you get your ticket for admission, you also get to play all the awesome arcade games. And it's like a gaming convention. So there's a ton. It's a lot of fun. And the same applies for the next show that I'm doing after that, which is Pittsburgh Gaming, which is in Pittsburgh. All these creative names for conventions, but it's in Pittsburgh and it's the same deal where your admission covers playing games. So it's like another show that is so fun to attend. Like Cleveland Gaming, I go to so that I can play the games. Like I do fine at the table. It's whatever. But like I'm like, oh sweet, it's arcade time. Like as soon as the vendor hall closes, I'm running over to play arcade games. And then after that, I think I'm doing SubasaCon, which is in West Virginia. And that's an anime show. Anime shows are kind of my bread and butter with this. Just I mean, all the pink, you know. Obviously, when you look at me, you're like, that makes sense.
Cool. All right, I think that's it. Yeah.
You mentioned anime shows. Do you like anime?
So I do. I like Studio Ghibli, but I haven't watched very many anime series actually. Mostly just like Ghibli movies. And anytime my friend is really like my friend Cayenne, like the pepper, whenever she's really into something, it's like I've watched it because she talks about it so much.
Nice.
And so like she'll give me every story beat. So it's like, so I'll know a lot about anime. And so people always assume that I've watched it because I know so much. But it's the same with certain video games. She's explained it so hard. It's like I know how to beat bosses in a game that I'll never play. You know?
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, I think we can probably wrap it up, Monica. Thank you so much for your time and for everything you've shared. Did you have, I guess, two questions? One is, where can everyone find you? And then, do you have any like last words of wisdom to share?
You can find me on Instagram.
Great.
You can find me on Instagram. It's a Multicolored Mind. You just look that up and it'll pop up. MulticolorMind.com if you like frogs or other silly little guys. And my parting words of wisdom are to just draw what makes you happy, and the success will follow.
Fantastic. So almost done here. For anyone who has watched or listened to this, if you like what you've seen or heard, please consider once again subscribing to our YouTube channel, interacting, commenting, liking, etc. It is just so helpful for what we're doing with our podcast and supporting as many indie creators as we possibly can. And you can find us at Dreamscape Empyrean on all social media platforms. And I think that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for tuning in. And until next time, keep dreaming. Bye.
Bye.